Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to my channel, Vlog Talk, where we vlog and talk. It's always a pleasure to speak with you guys and pour some inspiration into you guys. Hope you guys are doing great. So today I wanted to talk about supply and demand. Well, a demand is when we put our faith out there. According to 2 Kings 4:18 through 37, the Shunammite woman and how her son had died, passed away. She went out and she approached her husband and she said, well, I'm going to go see the man of God. It shall be well. Now, she could have screamed, hollered, and cried. She could have told her husband, wait a minute. My son is dead. She could have called people. They could have, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to speak the word only and say that it shall be well. So then, you know the story. Long story short, Elijah comes on the scene. He asks her, what's going on? Well with you? She said, it is well. He asked her, is it well with her husband? She said, it is well. And he asked her, is it well with your son? She said, it is well. Before he had asked her that, she had said, my Lord, did I not say, don't deceive me? For a healthy son, I expected a healthy son. This that I have, because this is not what you promised. I cannot accept it. So long story short, you know the story. Elijah went on to the house with the woman, my woman, prayed for the child. Then he began to seek wisdom from God. So he stretched his face upon his face, upon his body. And when he had done that, nothing happened after that. Then he began to go back and forth in the house one time. And that's when the child got up and sneezed 7 times. So it was warm. The child was warm. Okay. So then after that, he went back and forth in the house. And then the child sneezed 7 times. The child was well, just like the Shunammite woman had said. She said, it shall be well. So she spoke an unusual response. Her response was unusual. And she got an unusual outcome. It was how she responded. She needed her son to be well. The supply was healing. Yes, the supply was healing. And because the supply was healing, the supply was able to meet the demand, which was, it shall be well. She placed her demand on God when she spoke in faith, it shall be well. That was her demand on God. And supply met the demand, and it was well, and her son was healed. About the man who was blind, and God told him to take some mud and put it on his eyes so that he may receive his sight. Well, his response was he moved in faith. That was his response to what God had told him to do, because he believed God. So he put his demand on God because he believed him, and he moved in faith. And whenever you put your demand out there, the demand will meet the supply. And his supply was his sight. That's what he needed. Supply to him his sight. What about the woman with the issue of blood? She said that if I shall touch the hem of his garment, I shall be made whole. Well, she kept saying it, and that was her response. And imagine all the people that had referred her to all the physicians that were the best doctors in town. And even the best doctors in town could not heal her. She didn't even have any money. She had maxed out all her credit cards and all her cash, everything. She maxed out it all. And when she had maxed that out, she said, you know what? I didn't taken all the medications that the doctors could prescribe to me. So now I need to try something different. So her response was unusual. Who touches the hem of someone's garment to be whole? Now that makes no sense to us, but it made perfect sense to her because she was in faith, and it made sense to God because she got her thoughts in line with his thoughts. She touched his garment and got in line with his word. That we can ask anything in his name and he will do it. His will is for us to prosper and be in health even as our soul prospered. That simultaneously she was made whole. Look at this. She put her demand on display in order to meet the supply, which was her healing. What about Jacob? Jacob had done the same thing. He done what God had told him to do, and he was a prosperous man. He put his demand on display to meet the supply. The supply in his case was financial freedom, a wife. He needed it all. And God supplied his need because He placed his demand on God, and the man met the supply. What about the woman who was fixing flour and oil for her and her son to eat because they didn't have anything? And here go Elijah, wait a minute before you eat that. Matter of fact, I need you, what God told me for you to do. I need you to do this. I need you to go on and do what you're going to do. Make some for me and then make some for your son. If you do this, you will have plenty till rain comes down. And back then, there was no rain. So she was going to have plenty basically until she died, until her death date. And she done that because she believed what God had told Elijah to tell her. And because she believed, she put her demand on God. And when she put her demand on God, supplied man. And she had plenty in the end. Look at that. Now, because she had done that, God spoke through Elijah and said, well, now you have plenty. You'll never run out. So you don't have to kill yourself. You don't have to kill your son. Because now you have plenty, because you put your demand on me and I brought the supply to meet the demand. So if you're thinking about suicide, just put your demand on God. Whatever you need. And when you place your demand on God and say, God, I thank you that I'm healed. I thank you that I have financial freedom. You don't worry about what you see in the natural, because that's subject to change. I encourage you not to kill yourself. Place your demand on God and supply will meet the demand. Just trust him. You don't have to trust what I'm saying, because I'm a living witness that supply will meet the demand. And when it meets the demand, there's manifestation. You actually have it in this physical world, in this physical, natural realm. What about the king, who God told the king to dip 7 times in dirty water? Now, that doesn't make sense to us. He did it. He dipped in dirty water, and the 7th time he dipped and got up, he was clean. So the next time you're faced with a situation, place your demand on God and the man will meet the supply. And you will have it in his physical, natural world. So stay tuned for part 2, where I talk about how to build things in your spirit in order to manifest it from the internal to the external. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in to my channel, Vlog Talk, where we vlog and talk.